We breathe about 11,000 liters of air every single day. This has a really profound impact on our health and well-being. But there's also a hidden cost to this, and that's in the form of energy consumption in systems that actually control the air around us. So we're talking typically large buildings. So as you probably know, air quality is a very fundamental issue. WHO has all kinds of crazy and scary statistics around how much this actually influences our mortality rate as well as well-being and health of people on a global basis. And this is not just limited to highly polluted places, but actually is a pervasive issue globally because air travels everywhere. The other thing that's worth mentioning is that indoor air quality actually in buildings are sometimes much worse, especially in clean countries. The indoor climate situation is actually much worse than outside. And one of the biggest energy footprint that you spend is in actually regulating the air inside buildings, typically HVAC systems that includes air exchange rates, heating, cooling, and actually moderating the air inside a building. So this is what we're trying to balance. And modern energy efficient buildings are a bit like a sealed jam jar. That's how we like to put it. You put a bunch of people in it, you close it shut, and then hope that all the ventilation systems will be top notch to work in the favor of people and their health needs. But what in reality is that it's inadequate. Often it's not well calibrated. It's not set properly. There are all kinds of challenges, even with the most modern buildings. So at Leapcraft, we are sort of on a mission to enable both healthy and energy efficient buildings. We offer this as a sensing as a service platform. So we sort of combine sensor fusion strategy with data science and cloud services to actually help optimize this. And as part of our portfolio, we have a series of products. So this is one of our flagship products. It's called the Copenhagen Sense, which is actually an outdoor device that's installed on the streets or on lampposts, on facades of buildings, that measures all external pollution parameters. That includes fine particles, different gases like NOx, SOx, carbon monoxide, things that are not meant to be in the air, but are actually present. And often there are very strong regulatory standards within which most cities need to conform to. What we do is help benchmark these standards and provide data and analytics into that. So just to show you the scale, it looks like something like this. I don't know if you're able to see it, but yeah, it's a little device that's actually mounted outdoors. We also have an indoor device that actually measures the same thing in tandem inside buildings. And this is where the story gets really interesting in the current situation, that we measure a whole range of parameters that includes all the gases and particles, but also much more. That includes occupancy trends, how many people they are. We can measure noise levels. We can characterize what type of activity might be going on inside the space. We are very GDPR compliant in the sense that we don't record any video or audio. We just characterize the sounds and acoustic performance of the space. So we can actually infer what type of activity might the space actually mostly be used for. So is it a school or a kindergarten or a hospital or an office space? So we can actually bring a lot of intelligence into the overall ecosystem here. And in this context, I just want to allude to one recent development that has happened because of the pandemic situation, that we are using the data to now actually come up with a risk score for airborne infection in spaces. And this has become an astronomical story for us in the sense that we're not able to keep pace with the demand out there, where we actually understand how the ventilation rates are working inside buildings. We understand what type of activity is going on, how many people they are, and if people are actually at risk or not. And so we use this as a strategy to install our sensors inside buildings. And since we also know the impact of what's happening from the outside, we can actually understand how good or well insulated is the building. We can tell how performant from an energy perspective is the building. We can infer a lot of interesting insights into the actual long-term usage patterns of a building, especially across seasonal variations. In the Indian context, of course, the primary interest or focus would be cooling, because cooling is a much bigger need. And here, energy footprint on cooling is so high that that's something that if you know how to optimize can actually have a significant impact on both the OpEx cost, but as well as in CapEx cost in terms of design of the space itself. So what we do is we calculate the real-time risk in this on a 30-minute basis, and we can drive notifications based on these. So we can provide a really interesting sort of overview of how well the space is performant across rooms, across areas in the zones, the ventilation zones in the building. And we can sort of update the facility management on a regular basis on this. One other sideline thing that's actually happening is we have launched recently a consumer product in collaboration with a much bigger Danish company called Velux Group. They are one of the market leaders in window systems and roof windows. And it's a little bird-like product that is beautifully designed in collaboration with GXM Architects. So it looks like this. It basically does the same. It's meant for a consumer product. The only difference is instead of sophisticated software systems in the backstage, it actually just provides a really simple light and sound feedback. So it actually chirps like a bird, just to let you know when it's a good time to ventilate the space or open or close windows, and prompt you or nudge behavioral change in spaces which don't have automated control systems. The most important value that we can bring to the table is that we do this at a portfolio level. So this means it's not one room or one building. We can actually manage entire assets this way. And this has been an exciting journey for us. And recently we are also have an external investor into the company, which is a much larger Swedish group called the Lindab Group, who actually invested into scaling the solutions out on a global basis. And that's why I think our keen interest in sort of developing solutions for different new market verticals, especially Southeast Asia, would be a very high focus, and the American markets. What and how are people actually using it is a big question, and this is something is what is the crux of the whole story, is that we are able to provide timely notifications and intelligence by looking for patterns in how the space is being occupied and how it is being used. And this sort of synchronous notification strategy, especially for energy savings, for healthier buildings, as well as preventive maintenance, is our overall value proposition. We also provide full comprehensive dashboards where asset owners can actually keep track of the entire city portfolio or an urban infrastructure basis. And for this, we have teamed up with ABB to actually deliver these solutions in multiple countries and geographies now. Similarly, we're setting up new partnerships in different places, and we're very keen to build more in India, of course. Historically, we operated mostly out of Europe. Typically selling through distribution channels from much larger companies, as well as direct customers that includes university campuses, buildings, office campuses, schools. These are some of our primary interest areas.
Can we conclude in the next 10 seconds? Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, we have a whole range of buildings that we have tried out and built, dozens and dozens of buildings that have been optimized this way, including premium office spaces, hotel chains, university buildings. So we are definitely very keen on trying to build new relationships and partnerships. So if there is any interest in this, I'm more than happy to explore that and learn more from you. Thank you.